Hello, everyone. We are back, Roselyn Omaka Show, and I am here with the special, very special, amazing four-time Olympian, Cullen Jones. And I'm so happy that you're here. And clearly, none of this would be happening right now if it weren't for this young man right here, Kalvin
Appreciate it.
Spells. And so, Calvin, let's talk. What
Absolutely.
questions? Because I know Colin inspired you.
Absolutely.
What inspired you the most about Colin?
So what inspired me the most about Cullen is just seeing him on the screen. Seeing, and what I mean by that is seeing you racing, being in the Olympics.
Appreciate that.
Aside from my grandpa, that was huge for me. My grandpa was telling me all these stories, and then I'm like, okay, let me like look into this a little bit more, and then to see you swimming, I was like, hold on, if he could do it, I could do it. And so I appreciate you very much so
Absolutely.
for that. That was, very inspiring and has sparked my career. Has led me down the road of coaching as well, and just giving back to our community. So very much appreciated for that. And I have a couple quick
Yeah,
questions for you. So my first question actually
sure.
would be, what inspired you to start swimming?
Well, I hope I'm not as old as your grandpa. I mean, I look pretty good, I guess, for that age. No, I
Hey.
mean, I started swimming because I nearly drowned, man. Like I'm sure, like you, Calvin, you're like love of the water. That started very early with me. I was in, the bathtub with He-Man and Thundercats, and my mom was like, we had to fight me to get out of there because I wanted to play a little bit longer with my Hot Wheels. So. When I saw my first big pool for the first time, I was actually at an amusement park with my parents. And so I see this big ride and I'm like, oh, that looks fun. A little scared, but still want to do it. And my dad, who's, my idol, he's 6'4", I'm 6'5", that's right, I beat him. He wanted to get on that ride and he's like, you can do it, you can get on it. And I was a tall 5-year-old, but I was a very thin 5-year-old. And so what happened was we get to the top of this ride. My dad goes down first, I go down second, my mom goes down last, and I had never had swim lessons. I was supposed to just like ride this inner tube, hold on tight, hit the pool of water, and gently coast. And that did not happen. I ended up flipping upside down, and they had to fully resuscitate me. I was underwater for about 30 seconds.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So with that, that leads me right into the next question. Why do you think, or in your own words, can you tell the people why it's important to learn how to swim?
I think a lot of people, the misconception is yes, don't get me wrong, swimming is an amazing sport. It's a lot of fun, but the biggest thing is it's a life skill. And especially for the black and brown population, we don't impress upon our, especially our youth, enough how important it is to learn to swim. We need to make sure that we allow our children to be safer around the water. The best way to do that is to have swim lessons. You wouldn't allow your child to be in a car without a safety belt or play football without pads, but yet you send them when it's hot to the pool. And I know y'all in Houston, it's always hot
Right,
there, but
right.
like send them to the pool
Right.
You already
and
know.
then like you don't give them swim lessons, like, and you
Yeah.
expect one lifeguard to watch 500 kids, like, it's
That part.
it's kind of backwards. We need to make sure that we are giving our children the best opportunity to be safe around the water because we know they're going to get near the water anyway.
Yeah. So switching train tracks here a little bit. So now fast forward into your career. This is more like a
Yeah.
two-part question. Could you give us an example of one of the most fun times you've had in your career, and also a time where you faced adversity, and how did you respond?
You know, I'm gonna start because I'll just do the vegetables first before the dessert. So let's start with the vegetables, the worst part.
Okay.
Um, I've had quite a few. I have a 4-year-old now, and the biggest thing that I don't want for him is to go through what I went through. And so it's very important to me that he sees diversity in the sport. And as someone who's been able to do a lot in the sport, I feel like it's my mission to try to make him feel as comfortable as I wanted to be when I first started.
Mm.
I mean, I've been to colleges where things were thrown at me, and I've heard the N word more times than I can count. And it was just because I beat their son, which I don't have a problem with, hater.
Right.
That's fine. Do that.
Right.
That's right.
Right.
I got that medal. So I'm fine with it. But at the same time, I don't want my son to have to go through that. And, in 2023 and beyond, like it's sad that we're still having these types of conversations, but I'll bring it back to my my first big incident with my parents actually together there with me. And it happened in New Jersey, which is a very diverse area, which is why it was so shocking that it happened. But I was always getting the pink and purple ribbon. Calvin, I think you know what color that is,
Yeah.
or what place that is. That's
Yeah.
sixth and seventh place.
Yep.
Sixth and seventh place.
Yep.
It wasn't like I was winning at
Yeah.
that time, but I finally won. And a mom came up. I ran up to my parents, biggest grin on my face. My dad's crying. My mom, which takes a lot. My mom's crying. Everyone's so excited. And this lady walks by and says, shouldn't he be playing basketball? What is he doing here? And y'all don't know my mama. Ooh, he whipped around. My dad was like, "Oh, no, come here. And he said to me, he's like, do you know why she said that? And I didn't understand. And he said, when you were sixth and seventh place, you knew your place. That was okay. Now that you're winning, you got to expect that. You got to understand that people are going to come at you. They may even look like you and still come after you. That's what crab barreling, that I learned what that term was at that time. I also learned that, what he said to me that day was the same thing that he said to me on his deathbed. Don't you ever let anyone stop you. Don't you ever let anyone stop you. Those were his last words to me. And so, yeah, that's been a big motivation for me even to this day. And it's only grown since my son even. It's about making sure that he has that same backbone and has that same strength to know that dad's in your corner no matter what.
What does your body mean to you? My body is a temple that represents my mindset and the characteristics of determination, consistency, and perseverance. My lower back injury is a reminder of a lot of things, but most importantly of a quote by the great Vince Lombardi that states, "Pain is often temporary, giving up is what makes it permanent." Through the vigorous process, it was rough mentally and physically, but after every storm, there's a rainbow. From this particular storm came about a fitness clothing line called K9 Fitness that was built on the foundation of transform the renewing of your mind through fitness and nutrition. In conclusion, you have time for what you make time for, and always remember, get yours.
I'm on my way to see one of my favorite clients. I have a delivery for her. I can't wait for her to see it.
Needs to come here now and
Hey, how are you?
My favorite person.
I brought you a
gosh.
delivery.
I love this so much. You make this fresh every time.
Yes, absolutely. Every time. I bake to order. Everything's fresh. I don't put anything in the freezer.
I know.
Fresh.
I can taste it. But I saw some other things that you had. I know you make a lot.
Yes, I do. Pecan pie bars, lemon bars, and still everything's made fresh.
Oh, my stomach.
I don't freeze anything.
Ooh,
so
okay.
you ready to cut your cake?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's do it.
Absolutely.
Cut
I'm
it.
ready. Oh my goodness.
It's not that I don't want you here. Yeah. It's something about the way you stare into my eyes. I know that I don't make things clear. No.
Hello to our dedicated healthcare professionals. I'm Roselyn Omaka with Bulamle. I understand that navigating Medicare challenges can be daunting. It's intricate, time-consuming, and it often distracts from your primary mission, giving the best care to your patients. And that's why in our partnership with UPL, we're committed to lifting the weight off of your shoulders. UPL is a beacon in the world of Medicare compliance, offering you clarity, peace of mind, and more time with your patients, doing the things that you love to do. Picture a world where compliance challenges no longer hold you back. Imagine focusing solely on delivering better patient care, unhindered by the complexities of Medicare. And what's the highlight? This amazing program is tailored for professionals just like you at absolutely no cost. Let's prioritize patients and simplify healthcare. Experience the blend of Bulamle and UPL, and let's make a positive change together.
Now, positive, great things that happened. Obviously the relay, everyone expects me to talk about the world record that we still have. But no, I'm not going to stick to the relay. I'm not going to talk about the relay.
Right.
I think one of the coolest moments was definitely coming back after the relay going to Chicago, and Oprah had all of the athletes come, and she did, her show, and all the athletes were sitting behind her. And we were sitting there, and obviously my grandmother and my mother, massive Oprah fans. Like, my grandmother never missed an episode. I would come back from school, and the first thing I knew what was on TV was Oprah. I'm sitting there with Phelps, Lezak, and Garrett, and she's interviewing Phelps, and then they bring the relay up, and she's interviewing us, and this is so amazing. This is so amazing. And she looks at me and she winks, and I'm like, on air. If you get the video, you see her. She
Oprah's
goes,
looking at you like this.
I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, thank you. And after they go to a break, she gets up, takes her heels off, and jumps on me and hugs me and says, what you have done is astounding. I am so proud of you. I got that Oprah magic on me, y'all.
Yeah.
That was one of the
Yeah,
coolest
yeah.
moments in my career that Oprah was like, you are ordained. I was knighted that day.
That's so awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that actually leads me into the last question. So one of my main goals that I'm working towards is just the stereotype, of Black people don't swim. I went to a predominantly Black high school where I signed a scholarship, me and one of my other friends who went on to swim at Howard. And I know that's something that you hear as well. And so as a 4-time Olympian, how does that make you feel?
It's something that it bothers me to my core. After 2008, I went to the Hall of Fame in Fort Lauderdale, and a mentor of mine, Bruce Weigo, showed me a book, and it had drawings of African slaves that have just come to North America, to the US, obviously not the US at that time, but they were surfing and swimming. And at that time, they would rather swim to death than to actually stay and be in slavery. So Black people, it was beaten out of us not to swim. So this is a learned behavior. And the sea 450 plus years later, we are still using the same narrative.
Right.
It hurts my heart to see this. Not when you have Simone Manuel and Maritza Correa and Leah Neal and Natalie Hine and Reese Whitley and Shane Cassis, and I can keep going. We have too many names that have made it in swimming for us to continue this narrative. Enough is enough. When it comes to us learning to swim, yeah, okay, we've heard the stereotype. Black people can't swim because their bone density and their muscles. Yeah, muscles don't float. Let me tell you, I can't float. 4 medals, can't float. Has nothing to do with that. Stop that narrative. Stop telling me you can't get to a pool and it's so expensive, but your kid's got the freshest on his feet, on her feet. Don't tell me that, because we're talking about lives right now. We're talking about lives. So if you're gonna spend that money on that, do that. I'm not dissing. I got plenty of pair of kicks in my closet. But let's make sure that we understand that swimming is not just a great sport. It's a lifestyle, but it's also a life skill. When you go into the Jewish faith, I swam for a Jewish community center. It was one of the best experiences I've ever had. One of the things in the Jewish faith is learn to walk, learn to talk, learn to swim. You are considered a bad parent if you do not do that. We need to establish that in our culture. Australia, to not know how to drive here is to not know how to swim there. You go there and say you don't know how to swim. That's like coming here and being like, oh yeah, I don't drive. Wait, are you from New York? No, I just don't drive.
Right.
People would look at you crazy. But we're okay with the narrative that we don't swim, and that's what we have to change. It's enough is enough. If Black people don't swim, yes we do. Black people don't ice skate. Oh wait, yes we do that too. We don't play golf. Oh yes we do. We don't play tennis. Yes we do.
Absolutely.
We play anything. We can do anything, and we're tired. I'm tired of this narrative. We got to change it.
Absolutely. I'm right with you, and I appreciate you so much because, you're just leading by example. And like I said, that was huge for me, and I know a lot of people that were next to me that are African-American, for the same reason. They swam, You know, so it's very much appreciated. Like I said, I'm very inspired to be sitting here talking with you as well. It was definitely a pleasure. And those are all the questions that I have, and I appreciate your time for speaking with us today.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate it.
Cullen.
Absolutely.
And make sure you
Thanks for
update us
having me.
on what's going on, because we're going to shout out news about you because you're doing some great work.
Thank you. Thank you.
And congratulations again on the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Oh, that was just a water safety event. That was a water safety award. I appreciate it.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Hopefully next year I get Hall of Fame. Hopefully.
Yeah.
No, it's
Nah,
coming.
we're
It's
gonna
on its
manifest
way.
it. We're gonna manifest it.
It's on its way.
We're gonna
Exactly. We're gonna manifest it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you, Cullen. You have a good one. Guys,
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you took something away. And see you next time. Bye.
Everybody.